Greetings, Facebook, YouTube. This your boy, Timothy the Teddy Bear Trucker, signing on from Valparaiso, Indiana. I have with me Mr. Hamlet Dubois, owner of Brothers Trucking,
aka Bro Truckers.
Bro Truckers. And we was able to, luckily enough, cross paths, which is almost rare in our line of work, right? And was able to meet up. We had a very, very nice business dinner at a local bar here in town, and it was a great conversation. I think we just talked.
We were just talking. We weren't even eating for that.
We hardly even ate our food.
Yeah, and the food was good,
man. The food was excellent. Do you remember the name of
What's the name of that cheese?
Oh, man.
Some flaming
something.
Cheese, yeah.
It was funny because the waiter, she was really nice. He ordered it was kind of like, I want to say like a pita.
Yes,
cheese.
they were pita bread with flaming sarsaparilla.
Sarsaparilla cheese.
Sarsaparilla or something like that. Yeah.
But when she brought it out to me, I thought it was his entree because the cheese looked like a pork chop. So he's like, "Where's the cheese?" I'm like, "That's it."
That's it. Like, what?
But man, it was good, wasn't it?
Man.
Oh man, I'm gonna have dreams about that meal tonight. But we were able to meet up and just discuss different ideas, man. We had a nice rap session. It's always in a benefit when you can do that, when you can get in the contact with other people, professionals in your industry, and just exchange ideas and networking. I learned so much from this brother tonight, and like just exchanging thoughts and ideas on growth and expansion. We're both roughly in the same place, new business owners, trying to plan for the future, trying to expand, trying to grow.
Both veterans,
in the trucking industry, both owner operators, and just trying to grow in an industry that is not only
cutthroat,
most highly regulated, most dangerous, profitable, but most regulated, dangerous, and competitive industry there probably is in this country. I mean, we're the little guys competing against these mega carriers, that have billions and billions of dollars, and we're at their mercy right now. But through God and strength and will alone and perseverance, we're out here and we're doing it, step by step, little by little. So I wanted to take this time to give you guys talk to Hamlet and see if you guys
talk about some different ideas.
And swapping ideas. But first, I want to get a little bit of a history on you, Hamlet. What made you get into the trucking industry?
Well, they had a course on post at the time. I was in the Army for 6 years, and I knew I wanted to get out of the Army. I felt like my time was up, and I had did one tour in Afghanistan. I went to Korea for 2 years, and I thought I did, I wanted to walk away from Army, and it was a good place and everything. And they had this course on post where you learn how to drive. You had a CDL course, and you did that outside of work from when you're released at 5 o'clock all the way till 9 o'clock at night.
Oh wow!
And so it was awesome gig. You know what I mean? Like as soon as work was done, I mean obviously sometimes I had to cut out loose, but and then they had a Saturday and Sunday thing, and that lasted a while because it's not every day you're doing it. You know what I mean? And it's called NTTS on Fort Drum, New York. And that's all
New York. Yeah, we're both New Yorkers.
New Yorkers. That's why. If you're wondering why it says Bro Trucker, it really means Bronx brother.
Oh,
okay.
See, there's always a name. There's always a meaning to these names that we come up with. Veterans Pride Trucking. I'm a veteran. I was proud to serve. I'm proud to still serve my country through a different means, and doing the transport business. So it's funny how we come up with these names, but they mean something, and they're personal to us.
Yeah, personal, exactly.
And it makes it personal to the customers we serve too. So do you know if they still offer that NT?
Yeah, they still do. I mean, to this day, like I go back there and I say, hey, listen, I took that course just for a plan plan B, sorry.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what I wanted to, even still with the time that I was in the Army, I kind of still didn't know what I wanted to do, because there's just, once you become a veteran and you come out the Army, like the doors open up, employee and job wise for everything, and it's just like so hard to choose what do you want to do and like what's gonna make you a good amount of money and good living and all that kind of stuff. But it was never to become a truck driver. I didn't know that, you know what I mean? And so anyways, I'm taking truck driving school, and the recruiters come, and then, you know, you start seeing these big trucks on the magazines, and they're telling you about it, and you're like, wow, like, you know. Anyways, ETS day comes up, I'm about to get out, and a month on leave, I'm like, you know what, screw it, man, let me just start driving these trucks.
Okay.
And I applied to US Express. I worked out with them for first 5 months.
Okay.
And I was teaming with my brother, and I told him he wasn't doing anything better. I told him to go NTTS in Syracuse, and we both got started at the same time, went to training at the same time.
Awesome.
And that's how we started team driving. And now we're separated, and he does tanking for quality carriers.
Oh, quality.
Yeah.
Your name quite a bit.
Yeah, no, but it's not the same.
Okay.
No, quality, because people get, when I say that, people think it's quality leasing. Quality leasing is like just leasing the trucks out.
Okay.
But quality carriers is like a carrier. It has nothing to do with quality.
Okay. Kind of like Schneider National or Schneider Finance.
Right. But they're not even like, they're not the same company or whatever.
Oh, okay. So they're totally
separate.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
It's just like the name, just they fall into that. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Okay.
But yeah. Anyways, that's what he's doing now. He's doing tanking. He's been doing that for a little bit over 2 months now. He's still liking it. He says a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I can imagine that. That's
got to lay down those pipes.
Yeah. No pun intended.
No pun intended, man. Got to hook up and fuel up, and he's talking about he has to get a trailer wash out every day. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's a reefer life. Sounds like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, so I got into it, and I've been driving for a little bit of a year and a half now.
Okay.
And man, I've been liking it. I gotta say one thing though.
Mm-hmm.
Working at US Express, you know, it's not to say US Express is a bad company to start off with. You got to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And anyways, it's just crazy because like we were talking, you know, the bad things happen in life. It may look bad initially, but it opens up the doors. You know, some things just come out, and it winds up being good. It winds up being really good. So at US Express, things were going bad like for a while. Like I think we gave it a month of receiving bad paychecks as a team. Like we were doing like 4,000 miles, and there was one time 3,000 miles, and I'm like, as a team, like that's almost solo numbers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really bad. And I mean, it wasn't like we were just like 1 week bad and we were like causing hurt, you know, a fit.
Yeah.
But it was like a multiple, like 3 weeks. We were like, all right, something's got to change because like the money is not coming in, and there's no point for me being on this road if I'm not even making any kind of money.
Exactly, and you get to a point where you're living at a certain standard of quality of life.
Yeah.
And you can't maintain it.
You can't maintain it. Exactly.
The checks keep fluctuating.
Yeah, exactly.
Wildly.
Wildly.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I noticed between the different types of trucking. Like with over the road, you're driving more miles, you're out on the road for a longer period of times, but your revenue is going to change from week to week.
Yes.
The miles.
Yeah.
Whereas I always, like I said in the iPod interview I had with Moses Congreve, which you can download on iTunes and listen to it for free. Whereas somebody just coming into this industry that doesn't really have all the experience, hasn't ever been in here, or even better yet, has a family, children at home.
Yeah.
I would suggest going to a regional dedicated account to start off your career in the trucking industry, because in those types of situations you're doing roughly the same amount of work each day, and and you can have a better gauge of how much.
Better gauge how, yeah, right.
Yeah. You know, the over the road trucking is an adventure. Believe me, I love it. It's the only thing I ever want to do. Mm-hmm. But you have to get used to riding those fluctuations.
Yeah.
And you have to live according to that. Like you can't live above
your means. Yeah. And see, that's one of the parts that suck about kind of being in the Army, because like you know what paycheck you're gonna get. Yeah. It's steady. You're gonna get it 100%. You know, no matter if you get. You don't get fired in the Army, you know what I mean? So like, I mean you can, but like, you know what I mean?
It usually means living work.
Right, exactly. But anyways, you know what you're gonna get, and so I spoke to other veterans where we can easily live above our means.
Yes.
Being in the Army, because you know what you're gonna get, and you're like, well, I got like $200 that I could push for. In this budget that we can get something, or you know what I mean, do something with it. So it's really easy to live above your means. And so when I came into this industry, I'm like, well, I need to make the most amount of money. I need to try to maintain the amount of money that I was making in the Army out here. Obviously I'm not going to have the benefits of the TRICARE or the health, but I at least want to try to make very close to what I was making, because of my fault I was obviously living above my means, which you know, it sucks, because now as an owner-operator out here, doing this, you know, I just started owner-operating, I don't know, 3-4 months. It just sucks that you have to wait a year to make this money. And you can do it faster. You can do it faster, but like you're gonna have hurdles and all this other stuff. And if you can get a bad taste in trucking. All right, your first year, if you can just hold on tight to that first year in trucking, everything will be like you're walking in. Just imagine the first year of trucking, walking through the desert. All right, and it's so bare, and you might see a little bit of water here, you know, a little bit of shade here, and mirages. You know what I mean? And
it's like I say, they're gonna work you like a Hebrew slave and pay you accordingly.
And then once you pass that year, it's like you start seeing the paradise and all this other stuff. But you do need that. You know, I understand. You do need the experience so that you can make informed decisions out here.
You have to know what you're getting into.
And exactly. You can't just like get in a truck and then like mama's like, come home. And you're like, you just got a truck. Like that can't happen.
So you waited about a year before you went to
11 months.
11 months. Okay.
It was at 11th. It was at the 11th month mark where I got the truck. But actually, I started planning that out way ahead. You know, it was like at the eighth month mark that I started making the move, setting up the LLC and all this other jive. And but yeah, I mean, it's still, you know what I mean? I wasn't even thinking about owner operating. Like, you know, I said in the back of my mind, I want to get there one day, you know, but like you're so focused on driving, try not to die, like Woody says. You know, and try not to crash, and try to be safe.
Manage your business.
And and just drive the truck and try to make these appointments and try to get sleep. And there's a lot of things to juggle, you know.
Did you find that it was difficult to be both the owner and the employee at the same time?
Yeah, man. It was initially and what I was teaming with my brother for like the first month, so it wasn't as bad because we were both like, yo, you're gonna manage this and I'm gonna manage this. Like when we were first setting it up, like we were like, okay, you're gonna set up. I told him like, you're gonna set up the Easy Pass account. You're gonna set up this, and then I'm gonna do this, like this big massive piece, and you do all these things because there's a lot of places you gotta call, and it's like, and you gotta remember to do all these things, and you gotta do it in a certain order or whatever. And you gotta apply for the business debit card, the setting up the LLC. Then you wanna get all the stuff for the truck, reconfigure the truck like you want it. You might want to get an Easy Pass. I don't know if I said that already, but you
2290.
20
if
the all these other jazz, man. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts.
And you have to be able to navigate all of that with little to no prior experience, and as well do the work that the truck makes money.
Right, you know? and drive the truck and get sleep.
Yeah. So it can be
and then at the same time looking at fuel prices.
Yeah,
like, okay,
yeah.
am I filling up here? You know, and like
now see, we talked about this a little bit before. There's different viewpoints, I guess, on fuel. As you know, this is not the 50s, 60s, and 70s and 80s when diesel was 80 cents a gallon.
Like we were talking to that taxi cab
taxi driver. Like
yeah.
we're paying upwards of $2.80, $3, $3.25 a gallon now.
Yeah.
And there's different ways that people look at it. Now, from what I and tell me if this is true for you.
Okay.
From some owner operators, what they do is they calculate the actual price of fuel that they're buying. So meaning the pump price minus the state tax, right? To find out what the actual price that they're paying at the pump.
That's what I told you. I told you about that. Yes. That's the
and a lot of owner operators tell you that's the way you should do it, so that you're not killing yourself buying too much fuel or paying too much for fuel, right?
Wait. Sorry. Repeat that again. Repeat that.
Okay. So supposedly, let's say, for example, we're here at the pilot in Valparaiso, Indiana, and it says that diesel price out here is $2.89 per gallon. But let's say the fuel tax on each gallon is 20 cents.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So you minus it.
So
off
you
the price.
take that, and that's the actual price.
The real price.
The real price of the fuel. And you compare that with other places along your route.
Yes.
And determine which is the cheapest. Place
one
to buy.
That's the real cost of diesel.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't know if I told you about that. Not many people know that.
Yeah.
You know, they just a lot of people. And I had wanted to make a video about this, the real cost of diesel, because a lot of owner operators and diesel or whatever, they see a low price, and they think that it's gravy, you know. But in actuality, it's the places that have the lowest prices that you're paying the most fuel. And it's bugged out. It's bugged out to think that, right? Because let's just say, for example, today I started off in Wisconsin, and I was going through Chicago, so I had fuel to I've either fueled up in Wisconsin or I was going to fill up in Chicago. And Illinois and Wisconsin, the fuel tax that you get in Wisconsin is 34 cents, if I remember, and Illinois is 33 cents. But Wisconsin was so you obviously get more in Wisconsin by just 1 cent. It's not that much, but actually Wisconsin was cheaper this time, which Wisconsin is always typically higher, and it doesn't always work out that way. It might look like in Charlotte, say for Charlotte, like North Carolina and South Carolina. South Carolina, cheap fuel. You know this, right? And North Carolina, it's more expensive, but South Carolina, you might only get like 10 cents versus where North Carolina, you'll get like 30 cents. So when you calculate that price in there, you'll have a 15-cent difference, and obviously the fuel is going to be cheaper where you spend more. But now, obviously, you also have to consider like the miles that you drive in that state.
Exactly, and that's the point.
And that's the next point too. Is like you can't just like it's multiple facets that you have to consider. Like
and what it all boils down to is it's just another way for the nickel and dime little guy at every penny he earns.
Yep.
But these are all things you have to consider being a business owner.
I mean, or you could just fill up. You could just fill up wherever the fuck you want.
That's what I boiled down to. I figured, listen, I'm just gonna fill up whenever it gets to a quarter tank.
Whenever it gets to a quarter tank.
And I can either pay the taxes now or pay them at the end of the year. So either way, I think what I try to do at least now, instead of looking at the state to state, I try to at least just look at the one state and find where is the cheapest spot in the state. And what is it? What is the lowest price and what is the highest price, and what is just about what's the middle ground, and without going too far out, you know. And I don't ever fill up at pilot. There's no way, man. I can't.
I can't. I would love to fill up my pilot, but the prices are just too crazy, man.
What?
Even with a fuel card, bro.
Yeah. The fuel cards, I mean, they honestly, they're well worth it. I mean, that little 10, 20, 30 cents.
I get 12 cents off pilot.
Okay.
12 cents off pilot.
I get my deepest discounts at TA and Petro.
At TA and Petro?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Landstar. With Schneider,
Landstar,
it was pilot and flying check.
Okay.
Let's talk about plans for growth. At this point, where do you see yourself in 2 to 5 years?
Oh man, he's gonna make me spill the beans right now.
No, I mean, without divulging too much.
Okay.
Let me rephrase it. Where would you like to be in 2 to 5 years?
Honestly, it's very different to say, because like I guess every day I say I wanna stay in trucking, and then sometimes I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it. And so it's hard to say, like if I ever want to stay. But I think I do want to stay in trucking. I just maybe because I'm mechanically inclined, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Man, you guys know I broke down in Houston with Harvey, and my APU hasn't worked since I left Houston to Harvey, and I thought I had blown the alternator. My boy Hamlet comes over there and looks at it for 5 minutes. I think all he did was take off a cover and say reset this and it's working. He got the magic touch.
I mean, Terry's not the first person to ask me about that thing.
It's good to have something.
No bragging rights. It's just like I guess like I don't take this very seriously. I mean, but how do I say it? I don't think ain't nothing but a chicken wing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
for me, versus like for you, it's like wow, like fuck, like maybe it's working now. You know what I mean? And you weren't the first person. And so what I'm noticing a lot is that a lot of guys out here, I mean, including myself, because I don't always work on everything on the truck, because it's just like time and money, and I can't carry all the tools in the truck, you know what I mean? Like, I can only carry so many tools,
But it is a benefit to have some basic knowledge.
Basic knowledge, you gotta at least be able to change a light bulb.
Yeah. Come on, you gotta throw that in there. Listen. It's a brand new truck.
Hey man, he said light bulb.
It came off a damn assembly line where they have power tools automatically putting this stuff together.
Yeah.
And this light bulb was squeezed in a little too tight and it's a little too small with these big old bear paws to grab. And look at put your hand up here. You see that? You see that? So he got mechanics' hands. He was able to get in there and do his thing. I can't do it with these big old bear claws. These was made for eating, not for fixing stuff.
But going back, so like I'm thinking, maybe I could focus my efforts in maybe the mechanical aspect of trucking. I was just thinking, maybe starting a shop, or maybe, I've been really thinking about starting an APU shop, honestly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because
this guy built his own APU.
I mean, it's a tri-pack, but like I rebuilt it, and I have a video that's coming out on how to install it.
Put nothing together unless it's made of Legos.
Yeah, a lot of people like you get intimidated. They see a lot of parts and they're like, what in the world? But I guess you just have a natural aptitude for that, because I like working on cars, and I like building houses, and I just like anything that I can do with my my hands, and I take a lot of pride in my work, because being in the military, I've gotten away from doing a hack job, to taking pride in your work and being at like the next higher level, where the stuff ain't gonna break down in the next month or whatever, where that winds up being for a lot of mechanics, where it's like they just half-ass a lot of stuff, a quick fix, and go, and then you're coming back 6 months for the same problem, and it's like I feel like I'm not. I like to get away from that, because at the end of the day, it's like I was reading a magazine. It says you're trying to eliminate maintenance. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah. You're trying to just eliminate it by doing as much maintenance as keeping up with maintenance, so that there is no breakdowns.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
And as the same concept goes, I guess, with the maintenance industry, is you ever heard the old adage, you catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar, right?
Wait, no, I
You've never heard that saying?
No.
Okay, so basically the gist of it, and I'm applying it to the mechanics field.
Okay.
Let's say you have a mechanic that is that first mechanic. He said just rushing, do a quick fix. 6 months down the later, 6 months down the road, they're coming back. The customer's coming back for that same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Mechanics charging them again.
Changing them again.
They're probably doing the same quick fix.
Right. But he's like, oh no, this time this is different.
Yeah.
This is a different problem or something like that.
Whereas if you have a guy like you that's fixing it right the first time, taking his time, making sure the work is quality.
A little bit more expensive.
Because
of parts and more stuff is involved.
Yeah.
You know.
But you think you have a happy customer?
Oh yeah.
And will that happy customer?
Because you know what,
at the end,
yes, absolutely. Because you know what, at the end of the day, it's not about the cost, and that's what I'm starting to realize. It's not about the cost of things being done. It's the time. It's the time of how long it takes to get done, and if it's gonna break again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, would you pay? Let's just say, we'll just talk about APUs. Would you pay to get an APU done at 3,000, or would you get paid APU done at 6,000? You know, obviously the cheaper price, you're gonna be leaning more towards that, but you wouldn't know what's being done at 6,000, what's being done at 3,000. But if the guy is telling you, hey, at 3,000, we're just going to be installing a used APU on you, and the guy is at 6,000, it's going to be like, well, we're going to install refurbished APU, we're going to give you XYZ warranty on that. You're like, done.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It pays for itself. That's where a lot of guys, like, including myself, you know, we don't like messing with used trucks because you're taking on somebody else's problem, and you have no idea. You're gonna lose time.
Yeah,
you're gonna lose time on the road, and time is money.
Time is money in this industry. Make no doubt about it.
No doubt about it, man.
That one day that I was broke down in Pennsylvania cost me a week of revenue, a whole week of revenue. You know, so that's like it is. And then they had Hurricane Harvey. I was stuck out there in Houston, and had I not taken the risk of driving through floodwaters and delivering that load to Laredo, that would have been 2 weeks of no profit. 2 weeks of no profit means I am out of business.
That's rough, man.
With my expenses. Rough. Oh, that's this industry.
Yeah.
This industry forces you to go at it hard and be consistent, be patient, be diligent, and work your butt off.
Yep.
Day in, day out, week after week, month after month, for year after year.
Trying to get the next load off, take it off, get the next one, and you know, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yes. Yep. And so, yeah, I don't know. That's where I think I'm seeing myself fitting into this equation of trucking. You know, maybe starting up a shop, whether or not it'll be like I'm doing outside work or in-house work where I'm doing just maintenance on my own trucks, and then I'll have, you know, other, you know, technicians that are, I wouldn't say better than me, but, you know, more specialized in a certain field. Because for me, I wouldn't say I'm a jack of all trades, but like I have a lot of knowledge of just about everything. I'm specialized in a couple of sections, but you know, you couldn't tell me to rebuild an engine, like, because that's just like stuff that goes in a machine shop. In my thinking, you know, I know all the parts and pieces. I can put it back together, but you would need a machine shop, or you know, let's say what else? A guy that diagnoses computers. You know what I'm saying? Like, you understand what I'm getting at. There's people that specializes in that kind of stuff, and I feel like I would love to have. Because being in that army, back in the army thing, being an NCO, I had 14 soldiers, and I felt like I was a good leader. You know, I don't want to take pride in that, but a lot of my soldiers, they always say to this day, like, you were a good NCO and all that stuff, and you took care of you guys, you know, and that was the biggest thing. So I want to take care of my employees, because in return, like they're just gonna take care of the customers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and they're gonna figure out. You know, when you can't figure out a solution, I'm pretty sure that these guys they'll figure something out, and you'll be like, oh wow,
Yeah.
like I didn't think of that, or you know, whether it be about money or something, you know, and
well, that's what the Fortune 500 companies do. I mean, I'm sure their CEOs don't know every aspect of business.
right. But you got the specialized guys.
Yeah, so you hire the people that have the strengths where you have the weaknesses.
The weaknesses, exactly.
A diversified workforce.
Yep.
You know, and that's how you stay in business. You grow and become profitable.
Yep.
I don't know. Like I said, I can drive a truck. You know, forwards, backwards, and sideways. But you talk about fixing it, I wouldn't know the first clue where to start.
Right.
But I got you. So I refer to your expertise. You know, if you don't know something, I'm sure you'll research.
And that's how they say in trucking, like it's not what you know.
It's who you know.
It's who you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's how we grow it, not only as an industry, but as a community, as a country. You know, we need to get past the divisiveness and every man for himself mentality. You know, there is so much that we can learn from one another. There are so many ideas that can be exchanged.
I drive my own truck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
I don't need your help.
Yeah. And we can start winning again, you know?
Yeah,
like,
man,
if we just take the time out to get to know another person and see what we can learn from them, see what they can learn from us, and have a free and open exchange of ideas where you're not trying to rip off the next guy or,
that too.
You know,
and then
or give information freely, like, you know, we're doing here. We're exchanging ideas, and nobody's being charged. You know, like, you know, we're just talking.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but we're learning.
Yeah.
And we're growing as an industry. We're growing as individuals. So we need to do that more often.
And you get that positive reinforcement and all that, you know.
And know that you're not going through this stuff alone.
Exactly.
There's other people going through the exact same thing.
Exactly.
And maybe they thought of something that you didn't think of, or you thought of something that they didn't think of. Like, aha, eureka.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think this is pretty good. I think we accomplished a lot in this short amount of time. Is there anything you want to add to the folks there watching at home?
I'm thinking, man, like, you know, if you're really looking at the owner-operator game, make sure you have 11 months. You know, I can't say a year because I did it in 11 months,
I
you know.
did it in 9, I think.
But hey, I mean, like, try to at least do, you know, around that time frame, you know.
And get some winter driving experience.
Don't be afraid to throw chains on there.
No.
You throw chains?
No, I never had to.
You never
because,
had to? Okay.
All the companies I worked with and for, including Schneider, felt that if you had to chain up, you probably shouldn't be on the road. So
I hear a lot of guys' mentality like that, and I wouldn't say it bugs me, but like I don't know. I guess I was always the go-getter.
Yeah.
And
when you're on